clause or something. Let's try superstar DJ and friend of the stars, Mark Ronson.
I've hung out with both of them on occasion. They're just like sort of struck me as sort of quiet, shy geniuses, but could get murdered for talking too much about their personal life, I think. Protected by the French Secret Service.
Quite. What about Vitalik? He's actually French, so maybe he's immune.
I met Thomas a few times in Paris and in Dijon. He looks very quiet, doesn't speak that much, you know, and always in a very cool way, not too loud, and he looks very clever in the eyes, you know, like he's always thinking, and so that's the feeling I have about him.
Right. Annie Mac interviewed them earlier in the year.
When I met Daft Punk, I was really nervous because they're obviously massive heroes of mine, and they very much keep their identity secret. Obviously, they've got their robot masks. I had no idea what to expect at all. I had no idea what kind of personalities they'd have. But when you come face to face with them, Thomas and Guy-Man, you realise that they're actually two very normal, very French men who just really like music and like art. They spoke very intensely and very seriously and sincerely about the work that they do. And I guess it's hard to get your head around in a celebrity-focused world, but they're just totally not into being known for who they are. It's all about the music for them.
Can the guys from Soma help then? They were there before the costumes came out.
Thomas appears shy, but he's very, very chatty, and he spoke better English at the time. Guy Manuel seems quiet, but it doesn't take long to get to know him, and just really easy-going friends, you know, that's what they are to me.
I remember we slagged Guy Manuel for not having a girlfriend, and he said, well, I'm only going to date models.
Yeah, Guy Manuel used to joke that he just made music because he couldn't get a girlfriend.
Quiet, unable to get girls. Maybe there's a reason why they don't reveal themselves. Here's my last shot. Laurent Brankowitz used to be in Darling with Thomas and Guy before they all went their own ways, and Branko founded Phoenix.
I met Guy-Man first, you know, through an ad, you know, in a record shop. And there was a little piece of paper, and it was Guy-Man who wanted to form a band, you know, and he was very weird. He was like a sociopath, and yeah, he looked like a freaked out Jesus. Yeah, very thin body and very greasy hair.
Well, it's always good to hear a legend of modern dance described as a freaked out Jesus.
Thomas is a crazy guy too, but he knew more how to use his craziness as a creative energy.
I know when I first met Thomas and Guy, it was at the End in London where they were playing. Quite unsettling because they don't say that much. So you're kind of thinking, are you cool enough to speak to them or are they just shy and being very humble? But somehow, 10 years down the line, with 3 huge albums and 2 films behind them, fame hasn't changed them. They're still the same nice, humble guys I met back then. And Dave Clark reckons it's all thanks to those designer outfits.
I think they've chosen this robot persona just because they're big science fiction fans. They just want to express themselves as artists. They don't want to be confined. They don't want to be stars. They just want to get their music, their imagery across to as many people as they can without feeling themselves as being that important. It's what they do that's important. It's not the personalities.
He's right. Daft Punk are certainly artistic, enigmatic for sure, mysterious, definitely, and somewhat revolutionary figures. But as for my investigation skills in terms of trying to find out who they are behind the masks, well, I'm beginning to think they're a bit rubbish. So far, all you know is they're 2 men from France. They like disco music and robots. Thomas is talkative and has thoughtful eyes, and Guy is quiet and a bit like a psychopath. That's it. That is actually it. I mean, I'm Pete Tong, and these guys have been knocking around for 10 years, and I haven't been able to get anyone to tell me what they're actually like. I've checked in with their friends, their peers, their co-workers. There's no one left to meet but Daft Punk themselves. After all, I hear Paris is gorgeous this time of year. Or so I'd like to believe. Yes, after God knows how many years of having to be in places on time for radio shows, for DJing, for whatever, I get given the chance to hang out with Daft Punk in Paris. And what happens? I only went and missed the plane from Ibiza, leaving a somewhat bemused producer standing in Paris, not feeling very happy with me. Seriously, I was mortified. Any investigation kudos I'd got by now was down the pan. I had to leave it to the girls to do all the work instead. But first, I had to make a very real phone call to Thomas. Luckily, the production team was sitting with Thomas, so they were on hand to record it.
Hi, mate, how are you?
I'm fine. You're very lucky to still be in Ibiza, huh? While we're into the...
I'm very sad I can't be with you. I'm sorry I turned up at the airport and they closed the flight, so it's been closing party weekend.
Yeah?
But I didn't go out yesterday, especially because I knew I was coming to see you in Paris. I was worried you was very well behaved. I'm really going to try and see if I can see you in Japan or something. I'm meant to be right there at the same time, so...
Yeah, so, come and see us. We'll have some sake together.
Exactly.
Okay.
I will catch up with you. All right.
Okay. Bye.
So apology over, and a little glimpse there of Thomas Bangalter. Now picture the scene. We had Thomas and Guy Manuel trapped in the basement of a very swanky hotel in Paris, and we weren't going to be letting them get away without giving us some answers. First, and possibly most importantly, what is with all the mystery? Here's the answer from the men themselves, Daft Punk, Thomas and Guy Manuel.
Everything that is more secret is just more exciting.
We live quite like regular people. We are regular human beings, so we are lucky to live the life like anybody, and so the relations with people is exactly the same. People don't change when they speak to you, because we are not different than anybody.
So it's true that we came to this interview on the subway, and we have a completely a life that is much more similar rather than any famous, so-called people.
Daft Punk came to the interview on the subway, and there was I trying to find a private jet. I feel humbled.
We just did everything to bring something more than just two guys that don't look specially, we are just like regular people. We are not performers or dancers or special singers. So from the beginning, we didn't look for fame or success, in fact.
At the same time, it's true that when we started to hide our faces, it was something less that we would give to the audience, but we really tried to give so much more by replacing that. And so it was not just like a blackout of image, rather than, okay, we're not going to show our faces, we're going to stay anonymous, but at the same time we're going to try to create all this universe around the music, which is not marketing, which is not something to sell the music, it's just an aesthetic, a micro universe like that we want to build, and that is very close to what we think or what we are and what we want to express using different art forms. And in a very humble way, it forms this micro universe.
It really is just about the music, and this is, of course, highlighted during the truly amazing live Daft Punk shows. Mark Ronson saw them play earlier in the year.
I thought they're amazing live. I mean, obviously it's all about the lights and the experience and kind of all the hits, but what's amazing is that I'm not really one to stand in a field sober in the pouring rain to watch a light show for an hour and a half, but it's just something about the way they do it. It's just absolutely mesmerizing. The way the lights show and everything is synchronized with what's going on, it's such a communal experience. The crowd was going nuts, and I was just standing soaking in a field watching a pyramid. It was pretty amazing.
Annie Mac.
If you haven't seen Daft Punk play live, it's something that I would strongly recommend, because I think there's a lot of preconceptions about dance music when you think of a DJ and a box of records, but Daft Punk live are a really, really different experience. The music is correspondent to the visuals. The visuals are just as important as the music throughout the live show, and the visuals are absolutely amazing. Every beat and every nuance of the music is represented visually, and the whole triangle lights up in different colours and different designs and different patterns. The lights are the dancers. It's like a choreographed dance routine. It's a real spectacle, truly mesmerising.
Back to Thomas.
The live show that we're doing is really around this idea of doing something which is half in reality and half in fiction. So it's true that we're becoming these robots, and then it becomes almost a fictional environment, which is not really the reality. The show becomes special when you have all these thousands of people around this pyramid where they're almost interacting or acting